A priority without a plan isn't really a priority. That quote kind of threw me and it convicted me because I felt like it was so true. We feel like we have priorities, like, well, I'm going to make sure XYZ. And then life just goes and goes and goes, and we live reactionary to whatever the situation is for that day or that moment. We just kind of take the next thing and go and go and go. And soon enough, we're just living without a plan for our priorities. And like in our heart, we feel like the things that we want to value, we want to prioritize. And we may have all the intentions in the world in our mind to prioritize them, but without the plan, a lot of times they just don't get prioritized. And so there's things in our life that by default we prioritize out of fear. And so things like getting to work on time, or getting your kids' school done, or making sure you have food in the refrigerator. Those seem like non-optional priorities, and so we make sure we get those things done. But then there's the silent priorities that we have all the intention in the world of taking care of, like making sure you have enough time to connect with your spouse, or making sure you have enough time to read to your children, or cuddle them at night, or stay up late with your teenager and really just be available to them for things that they may be going through and they feel like they can't take up your daytime hours to talk to you about. Or, XYZ, taking care of your body, or connecting with your faraway friends, and like, I'll keep up, all right, I'll call, yeah, we'll get together. And those things slip through the crack. Those things we feel are secondary priorities because they don't seem as important as making sure you get to work on time or getting your kids to school or whatever. But as time passes, we start feeling empty. We start feeling disconnected. We start feeling lonely and feel like we're living from a place of lack and just beaten down and not really feeling like we have a lot of value or purpose in life. And that's kind of what happens when those secondary priorities don't get prioritized with a plan. And so I understand life happens. You have to be flexible. Those secondary priorities do sometimes have to take a little bit of the back burner because your day job or whatever your time and responsibilities are do take up a lot of that energy and space that you have during the hours of your day. But I was talking with my husband this morning. I said, it's time. We got to figure out a way to prioritize those things that seem less important. And we got to fit in one or two a week or, a day or whatever the thing is. And like, we just got to make it happen. And he agreed. He's like, yeah, I'm feeling it. And so I'm just kind of saying that out loud to y'all, just for whatever reason you hear this and feel prompted to kind of start the conversation with your loved ones or yourself and say, hey, what are the priorities that I feel like I want to be getting to that I'm not? And just take a second and figure out if there's a way to just kind of, say, what, this is it. I'm going to make it happen. Send the text real quick to your husband, or set an alarm at a little earlier bedtime prep so that you have that extra 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to connect with your kid, or be available for reading a book, or whatever the thing is. I'm not going to fill that in for you. You know what that is. And so just stop and be like, what is it that I'm thirsty for that I'm not getting in my life? And set it as a higher priority and give it a little plan. Come up with a little system, communicate with your loved ones, figure out what that looks like, and start the conversation and start the rhythm of throwing that into your higher priorities.